Hello and welcome to another edition of the Spotter Stand. Coming to you this week live from Pocono Raceway. Got with us BSR Pockets, BSR Hot Rod, BSR Chevy Chase, and special guest this week, BSR Brian Voiles in the house with us. How's everybody doing tonight?
What up, everybody? Good?
Hello, everybody. Doing good there, Texan.
I know most of
Brian?
you guys didn't catch that race today. I know, Brian, you're out on the road, so you didn't have opportunity to, and Pockets had yard work to do. I think Hot Rod caught a little bit of it, but Martin Truex Jr. bringing home the victory today. That was actually a great race. That was a lot of fun to watch. That was one of the best races I've seen in a while. For NASCAR. Kyle Busch was leading. Harvick was leading. There were a lot of fast drivers, and a lot of lead changing, a lot of three wide, a lot of crossovers. Congrats to Truex on the win. Yeah, he earned that one. That's for sure. That was a great race.
If you've noticed in NASCAR, there's a trend that's been happening for years, and I don't even know if people notice it or recognize it or not. When you get off the beaten path of these cookie cutter mile-and-a-half tracks, you go to tracks like Dover. There's not another track like Dover. Pocono. There's no other track like Pocono. That seems to be where the great racing really is, in the tracks that are not your average, everyday, run-of-the-mill speedway type tracks. And I think that's something that maybe they should look into. NASCAR hasn't built a new track in a long time. Even a track like Homestead. There's several tracks out there that are just different, that seem to produce great racing.
Yeah, there's nothing like Pocono, that's for sure. The only triangle track on the schedule, the only one I know of, really. Some of those other tracks, like you mentioned, Dover, that's a real unique track. Even Phoenix, kind of a unique track. That is similar to maybe one or two, but it's a little different than most tracks. A lot of fun.
Yeah,
Great racing.
just creates a different style of racing. I've always said that in sim racing, Pocono, my most favorite turn in all of racing is the tunnel turn at Pocono. Just the way you have to get down in there, and the different philosophies of how you approach that turn with other drivers is just, I love going down into the tunnel turn at Pocono. It's if you nail that turn and you find that sweet spot in the tunnel turn at Pocono, then you'll know what racing is all about. You get that feeling, you get that buzz of nailing it, hitting it just right, coming up off that turn, headed down into that short left-hander, and it's just, I like Pocono.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of different styles and strategies here. Some guys shift, some guys don't. And all the turns being a little bit different. Turn one is pretty similar to a lot of different speedway type tracks that aren't extremely banked, but that tunnel turn, that's more like one of the turns at Indy. That turn is, and then that long sweeping left-hander, that final turn. That's kind of reminds me of a New Hampshire style turn, something like that. They're all three different, and like I said, if you nail that tunnel turn and that third turn especially, you can really pick up or lose a lot of time on that third and last turn there at Pocono. Definitely a unique track, and it produced a lot of great racing in NASCAR, and for us as well. I think both of our races, the Cup and the Xfinity, went great this week. We had some awesome racing, lots of green flag pit stops and lead changes. Great track and a lot of fun.
Another unique thing about that track too is that they race pretty close back to back there in the series. I don't know what the schedule does this year. I hadn't really studied it that much, but it's usually both Pocono races are within a month of each other, aren't they?
5 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought we were looking at that just the other day, and it was 5 weeks.
Yeah,
So yeah,
they still kind of have that. They still kind of have that Pocono philosophy fresh in their mind when they go back there. So that's probably another thing that creates such good racing there. It's just a good track. It's big. It's got a mixture of everything. It's flat. It's big. It's just a great track. I love Pocono.
Front stretch, longest straightaway in NASCAR.
well, we got a few viewing and watching already. Let's let's going to get on to the week. We've got a couple of pictures to share with you guys this week. As you all know, the team series just wrapped up season 34, and Team Ghost was able to bring home the victory. And one of the prizes that they got here, awarded by BSR Scar at WLS Graphics, they all got T-shirts, for their team. And this is BSR Brain Fade. He's got his number 49. It's named BSR Brain Fade right there below it. You can see he's holding a copy of the game, NASCAR 2003 season with him right there. I think these are great, awesome prizes. I've got a T-shirt from the Polar Bear 500. I wear that thing all the time. These kinds of things like these T-shirts, something you can wear out, and other people, hey, what is that? Who's Bomb Squad Racing? And it's pretty cool.
Absolutely, that's our man Brain Fade right there, representing, holding a copy of the game there in the original box. Who else got that original box? I got 2 of them.
I do too.
I do too.
Well, I only have one 2003 box, but I have a NASCAR 2002 still around as well.
I even still got the owner's manual. It don't tell you anything, but I still got it.
We've also got another member of the Ghost team this last season, probably the MVP for the team series this season 34, as he was able to win 4 races out of 10, 3 races out of 10 for his team.
3 in a row.
Yeah. BSR SS Joba. You see there his number 56 on his shirt, and his name BSR SS Joba, and the Team Ghost right underneath it there. And we've also got one from SS sent us. It shows the back of the shirt, and these are cool. It's got the Bomb Squad logo on it right there. Saturday Night Team Series, Season 34 champions. Yeah, I mean that's awesome. I'd love to have one of those, and I know Momo, he's kicking me every night because I missed that last race and missed a couple of races. We lost the lead in the final race to Ghost. We could have had those shirts, but that's the way it turned out. SS did a great job, man. How can you beat 4 races in one series? They definitely earned that championship and those T-shirts. Like I said, man, those things look great. Back of that shirt's awesome. Hats off to Scar and WLS Graphics for putting those out there.
And his wife Christy helped in that endeavor, and that, like I said, there's our man SS Joba showing the back of that shirt. That blue shirt coordinates with the color of their cars, the Ghost Pepper cars from Drunken Cow Jerky, our friends and sponsors down in Dallas, Texas, Drunken Cow Jerky. And I'm telling you, SS out of Connecticut there, he brought the pain.
Yeah, I want to look at that logo on the back of the shirt, but I keep finding myself migrating to the top of his head.
Come on, that ain't right. That's about what the top of my head looks like too. So hey.
I'm telling you right now, there may be a correlation between the top of his head and 4 wins. I'm telling you right now, you definitely don't have to have much hair to get 4 wins and 3 in a row and make one of the greatest comebacks in team racing history to pull off the championship for Ghost. So there you go. You can say what you want to, but that man right there brought it.
3 in a row on top of that.
Absolutely, he brought it and nailed it. So hats off to those guys. Their other teammate was who was it? Jimmy Dale?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I believe we have another teammate. I think it was Jimmy Dale. I'm sure his pick will be sent in soon. We'll get it on the spotter stand next week.
Yeah, we're waiting on Jimmy Dale to send us some pictures, and we'll make sure to post them up on our Facebook page. Put Brain and SS's congratulations to Team Ghost for season 34.
Jimmy Dale's just got to figure what computer to send it on, and then I'm sure you'll get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, we didn't have a race this past weekend on Sunday night for the Nitro Series, being Memorial Day. We took the weekend off and pushed that race off to this week. But there is a new logo out for the series. The Axel Foley Sunday Nitro Series, featuring Axel Foley there on the cover. we didn't run last week, but we are running there tonight. I believe Indianapolis is going to be the track tonight. Last race of the season. So any of you guys out there looking to do something this evening, practice will be up at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central. Qualify 9 Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. Be racing Indianapolis in the Aero 88 series. You're all welcome to come out, have some fun with us, run at Indy.
Yeah, that's the Sunday Nitro series. That's the more relaxed, kind of laid back, just come in, have a good time. They put up some points, and it's a shorter series and stuff like that. I think it's worth noting. We need to explain what this Axel Foley Sunday Nitro is all about. As you know, sim racers sometimes use their, we come from the old school back in the days when it was advised that you never put your real name out on the internet. Well, with these days with social media and stuff like that, all that has changed. But some sim racers still abide by that old adage, and they use made up names. And that's not only that's just one of Axel's name. That's what we call him, Axel. So that's BSR Axel Foley is his made up gaming racing name. And he was the one that came to us with the idea of putting up a Sunday night race, just a shorter series. I think it's 5 or 6 races, and they have a good time and they give away some prizes and stuff like that. And so he came up with that idea, and he came up with the Sunday Nitro. See, the spelling is night and nitro kind of combined there. So that's what that banner's all about. I got with Scar over at WLS Graphics and told him to make us something special, and that's what he come up with, and that's pretty classic right there. So that's the banner for the Sunday Nitro series.
Yep. And they got bananas stuck in their tailboots.
Yes, and it is in no way associated with Axel Foley or the movie or anything like that. That's just satirical kind of a nod, just kind of us being funny.
Well, I know it's a great series, and I've had a lot of fun racing in it. And I'm gonna be there tonight to run Indy. I love Indy, one of my favorite tracks. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Now on Wednesday night, the trucks were off this last week, but we did run in the dirt. It was we run Wednesday night the Drunken Cow Jerky Late Model Dirt Series. Whenever the trucks are off, which is about half the season really. This week we ran at Canandaigua. Am I pronouncing that right?
Canandaigua.
Canna or Canon?
Canna, like Canada, because it is just miles from the border of Canada and New York, in upstate New York.
10, I believe it is, Pug. It's 10 miles.
Yes, very close to the hometown of our good friend BSR SR5, the Rochester Rocket.
Well, I know that was a fun track. That's one we might consider going back to sometime. That was a lot of fun. We had some great racing, and whoops, that's the wrong thing. There's supposed to be a render right here. Let me see if I can get that for you. Hang on just 1 second. Yeah. There we go. HB Hardy takes the win at Canandaigua.
Yeah, HB Hardy pulls off the win there. I'll tell you about that series, that Wednesday night Drunken Cow Jerky Late Model series. That was an effort put together by our good friend, and I came up with a new nickname for him the other night because we were practicing in the dirt, and he was giving me tips and points, and he's a dirt expert, and that's Larry Yeager. So I started calling him Dr. Larry Yeager, and I said that he was a podiatrist, that he was the foot doctor, because in dirt, you got to use your right foot. So I said, if you've got a problem with your right foot, you got to go see the foot doctor, Dr. Larry Yeager. He's a podiatrist. He can help you with your right foot. So when you hear me call him Dr. Larry Yeager, that's what that's all about. He's instrumental in helping us put this dirt series together. And that track, Canandaigua, we've got some other ones on deck that are going to produce some great dirt track sim racing. And HB Hardy pulls off the win there at Canandaigua, and so that dirt series there's a lot of people, there's a lot of noise being made about this dirt series because there's a lot of people having fun, a lot of great racing. People are getting acclimated and getting to learn how to do that dirt, and they're getting tips from the good doctor. So there you go.
Speaking of the good doctor, I know the trucks are back on next week. Do you know where the trucks are running next Wednesday, Larry?
I'm going to go over the top 5. We didn't go over the top 5.
Oh, yeah.
HB got the win. Axel Foley gets second. BSR Brain Fade got third. Mr. BSR Pockets got fourth. And Eli rounds out the top 5.
See Ed Poe over there in the chat box. We know who Ed Poe is, Brain Fade.
Howdy, Ed Poe. Howdy, Bill.
And the trucks are back on this weekend. And they are headed to the great state of Texas.
Oh, yeah. My home state. My home track.
Lone Star State. You know what that means, don't you? That's also the home of DrunkenCowJerky.com. So Wednesday night in the Truck Series, DrunkenCowJerky.com. You know when the series rolls into Texas, there's gonna be something special. So we're just telling you, we go to Texas, you know what to expect. So Wednesday night in the Truck Series, anytime we roll into Texas, we do it upright. We do it big because everything's bigger in Texas. So we'll be excited and ready to go Wednesday night in the Truck Series.
Absolutely. Let's take a look here at the points in this Drunken Cow Jerky Dirt Series so far. Look at that. BSR Brain Fade has got the lead in this series with Furco in second place down by 14. Nelly in third down by 22. There's Pockets in fourth down by 27. And Hot Rod, the Foot Doctor, running out the top 5 down by 30.
I keep having bad luck in that dirt series.
Brain Fade's pretty steady, rock solid there with some good finishes.
You know, Brain Fade goes back to the days when we never really had a series or anything like that. We used to just, when the race was over, back when dirt very first came out for this sim, we used to fool around with it and just throw up some little fun runs after our regularly scheduled races late at night and play around with dirt. And Brain was always there because Brain's always here. He very rarely ever misses a race. And that goes back to the days of when we used to run dirt. And you can see that that's led to quite a bit of success for him in this series so far.
Yeah, he does. He's doing pretty well in the Friday night dirt series too, I believe. He's right up there in the top 5.
Yep, I believe so.
All around good racer, dirt, asphalt, wherever you're at. Brain Fade's there. He's the driver of the number 49 Drunken Cow Jerky Reaper car. Brand new flavor at Drunken Cow Jerky. Brain's kind enough to represent the flavor and the brand and field the cars for us. Doing a good job.
Now,
one more thing with the Wednesday dirt heat winners were HB Hardy and Eli winning the heats on Wednesday night. Giving them a shout out.
HB wins the heat and the race. That's some bonus points for him in that series. I know we're going to be heading to Texas in the truck next week, but is there anything on the schedule for the dirt next time the trucks are off, or are we still working on the next track?
That's still to be announced.
Yeah, we were batting that around the other day. We're still looking at the schedule. We're still looking at the available tracks, and we will be putting something together. There's several tracks that we got to choose from.
I know three tracks that are coming up are the Springfield Miles coming back again, and it's Fonda and Fulton both be coming in. Orange County's another one. They'll be in the schedule here shortly.
I know we've got about 3 weeks in a row of truck races coming up. 4 weeks in a row. So yeah.
Yep.
See, we got a little time to get one in there, but yeah, 4 weeks of truck racing, and we'll be back in the dirt again on Wednesday night. On to Thursday night to Pocono. Thursday night we run our Cup Series, follow the NASCAR Cup schedule, and as you know, we ran Pocono, and like I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, it was a great race. We had multiple green flag pit stops, several lead changes. Really uh, dominating the race as far as the fastest car would be Keith McLean, who ended up taking the win. He had a great car. At one point, Chevy and I were out in the lead by probably 4 or 5 seconds. Um, he had a bad pit stop and gotten behind some other cars on the restart, and we were able to get 4 seconds ahead. And by the time our tires were wearing out, Keith was able to make that up on us and pull away from us a second or two. Um, and thanks to his help after that race with the setup, I was able to tweak my truck setup, which we ran that physics the next night, and that helped me out quite a bit. So, hats off to Keith. He had an awesome ride, the dominant car, and showed it all night and took home the victory. Great job, Keith.
Yeah, I can tell you that guy was the class of the field, and the officials of the race even did a post-race inspection on him. He was doing so good, and he passed it with flying colors, and he secured a win there in the second segment of the Drunken Cow Jerky Thursday Night Cup Series. So that starts him off in the second segment as one to keep an eye on, because he's already notched up a win there in the second segment. So hats off to Keith in the 28 Havoline car. Did a good job. Great race at Pocono. Had several green flag pit stops. Just great racing as always on Thursday night. So hats off to him and everybody else that came out.
Yes, our top Keith McLean wins. BSR Chevy Chase with second. BSR Texan with third. Rick Craddock fourth. And BSR Axel Foley rounds out the top five.
Go, big names.
Well, let's take a look at the points here after the first race of the second segment. I've got Keith. Obviously, it's basically going to be your finishing order there since we've only got one race in. Keith has the lead by 3 points over Chevy Chase. I am in third, down by 4. Rick Craddock in fourth, down by 6. And Axel Foley, rounding out the top 5, also really tied for fourth, also down by 6.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting now, this is the second segment. This is the bonus point segment. The second segment, this is where the drivers get 1 bonus point for winning a race that they carry and put in their pocket and carry into the chase. So this is the just starting. So you guys get your eyes on the schedule and keep up with where you need to be. Each one of these races will produce a winner, and that winner will get 1 bonus point to carry into the chase with them. And second segment, 13 races. That's 13 bonus points on the table, but 12 now because Keith McLean done scooped one up, put in his pocket to carry to the chase with him. So that's your second segment starting.
So did everybody that ran. Grabbed one.
That's right. And don't forget that at the end of the segment, the top 5 are also going to get a bonus point. This first place will get 2, and the next 4 will all get 1 bonus point toward the chase. And as you'll see later in the show when we get to the bonus points, that pretty much all the extra bonus points have been given out already. All the all-star races have happened, the duels, special Daytona points, pretty much all those have been given out. Only bonus points left up for grabs before the chase are for victories and for making it into that top 5 in that second segment. That's really all that's left. So this second segment is going to be real important coming into the chase here to see who's going to be where.
Absolutely.
Well, let's check out Friday night. Friday night we run the NXS 15 mod Xfinity schedule. Also ran at Pocono this week, and it was another great race in Xfinity. More green flag pit stops. The CTS physics always produces a lot of close racing. Cars aren't quite as fast as the Cup, but the tires don't wear out quite as much, and they draft up really good. So, this series always has a lot of great racing, and this track was a great race. We got Robert Bauckham, White Chocolate, bringing home the victory in the Xfinity Series at Pocono. It was a great race. He battled with me and Rick Johnson. Who else was up there battling with him? Monty Keller, few other drivers that did pretty well, had fast cars in this series.
Terry Scott ran really good. He got the most laps led, so he must have ran into trouble or something at the end. Top 5: Robert Balcom, BSR Texan. Rick Johnson, third. Chevy Chase in fourth. Rounding out top 5, there's that BSR brain fade.
There you go. Well, Tennessee Titan himself making a rare appearance on Thursday night, but he's still clocking some of them bonus points. He doesn't have a lot of bonus points, but he's getting some bonus points for wins. So
we got Magoo and Terry Scott are also tied for 5th. We got 3 guys with 39 points.
Yep. So that's I'll just show you the competition level there on Friday nights too.
Yeah, I believe
congratulations to Robert.
Robert didn't make he didn't make enough to get full bonus points for the first segment, but he still got, I believe, 7. He made, I think, 7 of the races. Plus, he had a win, so I believe he already had 8, and this win will give him 9, if I remember correctly. We'll see later when we get to the bonus points, but I'm pretty sure he was one of the drivers that just barely, he didn't quite make enough to get all the 13 bonus points.
Well, I tell you what, it's going to take a lot more than that to keep that cat down, because he's one of the best. He's good sport, great clean driver, and anytime he shows up, people point to the 118 car as the car to beat. So as long as he keeps showing up, he's almost guaranteed to have success. So we'll see how many of these races he makes in segment 2 on the Friday night Drunken Cow Jerky series.
Oh yeah, not only is he fast, but he very rarely makes a mistake. And, that makes him doubly hard to beat, because, it's hard enough to beat somebody, every once in a while. If they make a mistake, you're gonna get a lot better finish than them. But if they don't make a mistake, now be lucky to finish in second place.
Well, you're right about that, because I don't know how many races I've raced with him, and you very rarely ever see that guy make a mistake, cause an incident, even in these places that want to put people's names out there and name and shame them for their cautions and stuff like that. You don't ever see his name on that list. I mean, you get to looking for Robert, you better look at the standings, because that's the only place you're going to see him, and he'll be up somewhere at the top.
Well, let's take a look at the standings here in the Friday night series. After one race, Robert is at the top. There I'm BSR Texan, second place, down by 2. Rick Johnson in third, down by 3. BSR Chevy Chase in fourth, down by 5. And BSR Brain Fade rounding out the top 5, down by 6. Look at that. Brain Fade's tied with 2 other drivers. We got 3 drivers right now tied for 5th place. Brain Fade, Magoo, and Terry Scott.
Yep, and we had a scoring question about that, and then
well, what probably happened
exactly
is, Brain Fade finished in 5th. Magoo probably finished in 6th and led a lap, and Terry Scott finished in 7th and led the most laps. Yeah,
laps with a lap, right?
Yeah. So the one thing about that is all that will change next week when we head to Michigan. And I tell you, I'm telling you, next week, for sim racers, you should mark this week on your calendar, because you've got Texas Wednesday night in the trucks. You've got Michigan both nights, 2 nights stand at Michigan in the Cup cars and the Xfinity cars. And, for years, we've always said, what if you could only race one mod, one track, what would it be? And overwhelmingly, it's CTS Physics at Michigan produces the best racing in sim racing. So you got Thursday night Cup, you got Friday night in the Xfinity Series and XS Series, which features CTS Physics and Texas. And CTS Physics, another great track.
Awesome.
Yes, so this is going to be a great week of racing here at Bomb Squad Racing, and thanks to the support from our sponsors, Drunken Cow Jerky, and we're looking forward to this week. This is going to be a fun week. I can't wait.
Oh yeah, that's a great week of racing coming up, starting tonight with Indy. Indy, Texas, Michigan. That's going to be a great week of racing. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Then we got Friday night with the Devil's Bowl, and then Saturday night late with Pocono.
Yep, it's a great race, great schedule.
Also on Friday night, after the Xfinity race, we move over to the Voiles Trucking Friday Night Dirt Series. Ran at the Devil's Bowl Speedway right here in Mesquite, Texas, my hometown. And this week, another great race. BSR Magoo coming out with the victory. Magoo is strong in the dirt. I know Pockets, he goes back to the early days of dirt at BSR. Ran strong then, and he's still running strong now, and he brought home the victory on Friday night at the Devil's Bowl.
Guarantee you, what's top 5 look like in that series there Friday night?
This
Who
Friday
finished in
night
top 5?
was BSR Magoo, BSR Texan, BSR Bama, BSR Pockets, and then BSR Hot Rod.
There you go. Foot Doctor rounds out the top 5. Got some Bama action in there.
And me and Magoo banged door handles for quite a while in that race. I know Texan was up there when I was running pretty good. Yeah, that was a lot of lead swapping and carrying on at the front.
Well, you know who else had a great
Digging
race in that race was Brian Voiles. Brian was up there running at the front at the end of that race, and if you guys remember, I believe it was HB accidentally got into the back of Rick Johnson.
Ricky J.
Yeah, and that was on the outside line right in front of Brian Voiles. I was on the inside line right behind Magoo, who was under Brian, and Brian just didn't have anywhere to go. Magoo was under him, and they were spinning in front of him. He got caught up, and Magoo and I both went by, and Magoo took the win. I got second place. That whole race was a lot of fun. I mean, there was some 3 wide, all kinds of 2 wide, 3, 4, 5 cars deep, and a lot of great racing. That was an exciting finish. It was a fun race. It was great.
Anybody who wants to get their practice on Indy's up at the server.
There you go. Yeah, it's great to see the 144 car pull into victory lane on the dirt. I mean, that guy right there has a storied history in dirt track racing. I mean, I can remember back in the days. We're talking a long time ago when Magoo would throw up the Grundy track, and we experimented back in the day before there was ever even an official mod even made for dirt track racing. We experimented, and Magoo was instrumental in figuring out what the best mod was. And believe it or not, back in the day when Grundy County was the only dirt track available for this sim, the best mod we could find to race dirt with was the old IROC mod. And that's what we used to race dirt in. And Magoo he pretty much started all that. He found the track. He figured out the mod with the help of us going in there and just fooling around with it. So it's no surprise to see him pull into victory lane. He is a dirt legend in the sim. So congratulations to him. And that series on Friday night, Brian Voles, are you with us? I don't know if Brian's here or not.
Yeah, I'm here.
So you're the title sponsor of that dirt series on Friday night, and we came up with the idea of having it at the same track every week. Tell us from a sponsor's perspective and a racer's perspective how you think about that series on Friday night.
Man, I'll tell you what, that's some of the best racing dirt-wise that I've ever been involved in. The guys out there, whenever you get an opportunity like we do to run the same track every week, like you would your home track, then the guys get used to racing with each other, and you learn the track, and it just makes for a hell of a blast. And the competition is absolutely awesome. I had more fun Friday night than I've had in a long time in racing. As the opportunity looking at third place, man, for me was going to be great. And HB Hardy and Rick Johnson got tied up there, and of course I got caught up in it. But that's some of the most fun around is the Friday night series and dirt track racing.
And this is coming from a guy who has actually raced on the dirt in some of the tracks around Arkansas. Brian's raced dirt. He was he was a racer all around, and so Brian, how does it compare to real racing on dirt of what we're doing right now?
I'm gonna tell you what, it is to me. This is the most realistic, with actually not being in physically at a live,
At a live dirt track.
yeah,
Brian's
at
phone
a
cut
live
out.
dirt track racing, yeah. That that I've been involved with. I mean, this is so real. The way the cars set in the corner, the way you drive off, you got to work your foot. That right foot and that throttle is the key to being fast in dirt. And it's
It's
the
the
same
same
in
in
this
real life.
sim as it is in real life.
Yeah,
Well, I've always I've said, I even said there Friday night that the restarts that we have, you get those cars all lined up and get ready to go on the restart, and they all dive down into turn one. And I do quite a bit of looking at racing, around the mid south and stuff like that, keeping up with the Lucas Oil dirt series in real life and stuff like that. And I see a lot of similarities to watching them race, on YouTube or dirtondirt.com and stuff like that to what we do. I mean, it just looks so similar. And I'm telling you, that dirt is just a blast. I've made the statement a couple of times. I think I like racing on dirt more than I do on asphalt, and I've raced a long time on asphalt, so that's saying something.
yeah, and we all remember how this started. You know that the idea you had, I believe, for going back to the same track and picking the track, the Devil's Bowl just turned out to be really a great track, and we all remember how it started out with the first race or two. You know,
Oh
a lot of
yeah, they were
guys
pretty
weren't
bad.
used to it. Yeah, there was a lot of cautions, a lot of wrecks, but slowly but surely, everybody got settled in and got used to the racing, used to the track, and like Brian said, the competition now is out of this world. I mean, every driver on that track could possibly win, and it's like a game of
Chess. It
yeah,
is
right.
definitely a game of chess. You've got to be you got to be in the right position, the right time, and make the right move to get yourself in the victory lane. And that is exactly what it's all about. Even in real dirt racing, you have to be in the right position. You have to make the right move in order to get into the lead. That's what it's all about.
Well, and I also think that being able to do what we're doing with the sim that is as old, 14 years old, with the help of the people out there that are making mods and making tracks and keeping this sim as current as they can, and what we're doing without having to go out and spend several $100s and fill somebody else's pocket to be able to do what we're doing. I think we're on the cutting edge of everything. We try to stay as current as we can. We try to come up with fresh new ideas. And this dirt series is just on fire. I mean, it's a great time, and the philosophy of dirt racing is completely different from what we do on asphalt. When you pull up to the track with your dirt car, you have to have a different mindset. And these guys, over the course of this series, we're going into the finale next week of the Voiles Trucking Dirt Series on Friday night, and just this whole group has gelled. They've learned the give and take that it takes to run these dirt cars, and it has turned into something that is absolutely fantastic to participate in. And even watching it on our YouTube channels and our streams I've got people from all over the country who are dirt racing fans who are tuning in and watching that. And they're watching it because it's great dirt racing. We are simulating great dirt track racing on Friday nights at the Voiles Trucking Series, and we want to give a special thanks to Brian and Kathy and everybody at Voiles Trucking for all they do for us in these series, and it's just a great time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's exciting. Yeah, it's exciting to race. It's exciting to watch. Even just watching it on the stream, there's a lot of close racing. It's really, really exciting. Let's take a look here at the points with just one race to go in this series. BSR Hot Rod up there at the top with a pretty comfortable lead, I would say, with just one race to go over BSR Brain Fade in second place down by 23. There's Pockets in third down by 27. Chevy, fourth place, down by 28. and I round out the top 5 down by 46.
There he is, paging Dr. Larry Yeager, the foot doctor up at the top. Look at this. I want to make a note of the 4th place guy there, Chevy Chase. When we very first started this series, it was like pulling teeth to get him to field a dirt track car. But now look at him. He's in 4th place. You probably couldn't run him off with a mop with shit on it now. So he's found his groove there on Friday nights in the dirt series, and I think he likes it. Do you like it, Chevy?
He's away.
He likes it.
Hey, you know he does. How can you not like it being in 4th place?
Yeah, he was my close competition there until the bad luck he had on this Friday night. He was the one I was worried about. I'll tell you that, Pockets. I was overly concerned about that Chevy sneaking in there and getting that championship on me.
And I think we need to make a note of is when we came up with this idea, when one of the things we wanted to do was give us another avenue to represent Drunken Cow Jerky with the different flavors and all they do for us. And if you'll look, the number 1 spot is held by the Drunken Cow Jerky teriyaki driver, Dr. Larry Yeager. Number 2 is the Drunken Cow Jerky Reaper car. Number 3, myself in the Drunken Cow Jerky hot car. Number 4 is Chevy Chase in the Drunken Cow Jerky ghost car. And rounding out the top 5 is BSR Texan in the Drunken Cow Jerky original flavored car.
And yes, and our other Drunken Cow Jerky car, sponsor car that we have, has been out sick a lot during the series.
Yes,
he's had back up there too.
But he's still in 8th.
Yep, Beer Bacon has had back surgery. The driver, Furco, has had back surgery. He's been in and out. He's got real world commitments, family commitments, work commitments, and stuff like that that's kept him from participating as much as he'd like to. But we appreciate him, and he's still in there.
And our Wolf Bites car, Bama, has been out. I think he's still having big issues with, what did he have done, his leg or something?
Bama's hit and miss there, and he kind of came into the series late, but he represents us in the Zero Wolf Bites car, so he comes into Mesquite every time he gets a chance, and he's always, he was a great contender there. We already seen him on the list of finishers there Friday night, so he's a good racer. Good to have him in the series.
Now on Saturday night, we run the team series. Speaking of Drunken Cow Jerky, and there was a race this Saturday. This was team picking week, so brand new teams were picked since we finished up season 34. We're getting ready to start season 35. All the teams have been sorted out, and there was a meet and greet race. I believe Pockets, you took the win in that meet and greet fun run this past. Or yesterday, huh?
I believe the 38 did take the win at the meet and greet race, non-points event. That's the race where after we pick the teams for the current season, we get together and everybody gets a chance to kind of meet and greet their new teammates and get set for this coming season 35, kicking off next Saturday night for, like I said, season 35. What that means is at the end of next season, that will be 350 team series races. The DrunkenCowJerky.com Saturday Night Team Series Battle of the 6 flavors. We had to make a little adjustment there because of the way the numbers fell, and with the addition of the new flavor of Drunken Cow Jerky, we decided to go with the 6 flavors of Drunken Cow Jerky, and we're in talks of trying to figure out a way to get Wolf Bites back in there as an official part of it. But Wolf Bites is still an official part of Drunken Cow Jerky, and we'll give plenty of mention to them. But we wanted to get the 6 flavors, but Wolf Bites is their pet treat that they offer, and it's great. It's a great product, and 100% human grade. It's something that you can eat and give your dog at the same time if you are so inclined. I've ate it before. It's like Magoo says, it's basically ground chuck hamburger jerky.
Yep.
Yes. And so this season 35 will be known as the Battle of the 6 flavors. The 6 flavors are Ghost, Original, Teriyaki, Hot, Beer Bacon, and brand new Reaper flavor. So We look forward to season 35. BSR Scar WLS Graphics are over there working hard, getting all the customized cars ready for season 35, and we will get down to business next Saturday night.
Yes, that Wolf Bites car that you see down there in the bottom left will be replaced this season with the Reaper car. Let's take a look at how these teams turned out this season. A couple of stacked looking teams in here. Ghost, last season's championship. This year is going to be the number 0 BSR Bama, number 97 of Les Alexander, the number 510 of BSR Steven. And then on to the hot team. It's going to be number 24 BSR Poor Boy, number 343 BSR Bubba J, and number 67 of BSR Brian Boyles. That's going to be a good team right there.
68.
68. I've got him in the wrong number. Brian,
Yes, you do.
I apologize for that, man. That's my bad. I'll get that fixed. And here's probably one of the most stacked teams, the Teriyaki team this season. Number 11, BSR Ray 5050, great super speedway racer. Number 38, BSR Pockets, another great super speedway racer. And my teammate last year, number 54, BSR Momo, another great super speedway racer. That team right there is going to be tough this season. That's going to be one to look out for. Then we've got over on Original this season, excuse me. Number 30, HB Hardy, number 65 of BSR Hot Rod, and the number 91 of BSR DJ Champ. Another good team there. Beer Bacon this season. Number 83, BSR Scar. Number 096, BSR Chevy Chase. And myself, number 201, BSR Texan. Hopefully we can be contenders this season. I'll have to make sure
I was just going to say, that's a team to watch as long as somebody don't oversleep.
Yeah, me and the 54, Momo, we were already talking about that earlier today. We were taking a glance at the. Go ahead and tell us who the Reaper team is, and then we'll just give an overview of this season 35, kind of a preview.
Well, the Reaper team fell just a little bit short this season, as we only had 17. We need one more to fill out that Reaper team. I'm sure at some point in the first race or two, we'll find a driver out there that will be able to take that spot and be that third Reaper driver. But they may have fallen short in numbers, but they haven't fallen short in ability.
That's the defending champion team, basically.
Absolutely. Yeah, you've got the number 49 of BSR Brain Fade. You know, he's going to be there every week, and he's a good, steady, solid super speedway driver. He's usually a good pitter and there toward the end of the race. And then number 56, BSR SS Joba, winner of 4 races last season, 3 in a row. Now everybody was looking to have their name up beside his when the last name, that last lotto fell. BSR Brain Fade, SS Joba, that's a great team. Once they get a third member in there, there's a lot of stacked teams in here. It's going to be
Hell,
a good
I don't
season.
know they need a third member, but with the way that goes down, and we have to pick teams on a specific time on a specific night. Sometimes people they're out of whack, or they're out doing something and miss. Usually, that couple of days after we get somebody come in and say, "Hey, I wanted to be on it." Well, we've got a slot open. We're looking to fill that last position there, and also 3 more positions available. If anybody wants to throw their hat in the ring, we can field a Wolf Bites team. So we really like to keep it from people. You know what I mean? This is all done randomly. These teams are picked randomly. So we'll be very selective about if we add the Wolf Bites team, but there is a spot open for, people who've raced this series before who might have missed or something like that. Like I said, there'll be somebody that'll pop up and say, "Oh yeah, I forgot," and we'll fill that spot, or we'll figure out some way to fill that spot to even up the field for them. And this is stacked up to be another exciting series, 35th in the series, 35th season, and that Beer Bacon team. And even the original team, all these teams. I mean, you just look. You've got some super speedway experts And this is going to shake out to be an outstanding season, and we are looking forward to it. Like I said, kicks off next Saturday night.
You know whose name I didn't see on that list, Pockets, and I was
Who's
just
that?
kind of curious to what
Doctor?
Jimmy Dale, the other champion from last season.
I thought he was there last night. I'll look into that.
Yes, his name is not on that list.
I'm looking over my paperwork here that I had from last night.
I thought he was in too, but I don't see his name nowhere.
So
That'll
you
probably-
mean Jimmy Dale and SS could end up on the same team again? And
Again.
Brain
With
Fade,
Brain?
all three
With
of them
Brain?
on the same
Yeah.
team again.
The
Repeat
champions
champions.
return.
For the repeat champions for the brand new flavor, they could win. They could win again.
Well, that would
Oh,
be
absolutely
that would
could.
be as random as it gets, because this is done randomly, and so we'll look into that and see what we've got. So, like I said, this is going to be an outstanding season. I mean, we've got all the flavors represented, got lots of good drivers, and I can't wait for it, man. That Saturday night team series is a big night for us, and we have a lot of fun. A little bit longer race. And super speedway, we rotate between Talladega and Daytona, so we're ready to kick it off. Everybody will be getting their new cars, and we'll debut all the new cars, new drivers of new cars, and we'll get down to business next Saturday night.
Well, on Saturday night, we did have a race at the Bulls Trucking Speedway Series. California this week. California, great track, kind of like Michigan. Big, wide, open, long track, plenty of room for passing, plenty of room for racing. And this week, if we had a driver of the week, it would have to be this driver, Robert Baucom. White chocolate M&Ms, number 118, brought home the victory this week at California.
Absolutely.
Yes. Top 5, Robert Bolcom, BSR Texan, BSR Magoo, BSR Aussie Bill, and Monty Keller rounding out the top 5.
You know, I almost caught Robert at the end of that race. We had.
Yes,
Did
you
we
did.
have any cautions in that? Yeah, we did have one.
None.
None.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Absolutely zero.
Zero cautions, and there was about 3-4 green flag pit stops. I know on the last stop, I decided to get in there about 5 or 6 laps early, and I went ahead and took 4 tires and got back out on the track. And Robert was in the lead prior to that. He stayed on the track for a few more laps before he went in, but he only took right side tires when he came out. So he actually came out a good bit in front of me. I can't remember exactly how far it was, but I ran him down to within about a second and a half, I think. Maybe with 2 more laps, maybe I could have caught him. But yeah, that was a great
definitely know. Yeah, definitely. I was running behind you when you were catching him. I definitely seen you were catching him. You were definitely running him down.
Yeah, but those 4 tires, I was a little bit faster than he was, but I just didn't have enough time to catch him. That was a great strategy move, taking those 2 tires there at the end.
Yes, it was.
You know, it's what, no cautions? What, 4 green flag pit stops? Is that what that rounded out to be?
I believe it was 4.
Yes,
4 green flag pit stops, no cautions. Robert yards the field, great competition, great race, great setup. But you know, that Voiles Trucking Saturday Night Speedway Series, that's our division of fixed set racing, since BSR doesn't do any fixed set racing. That Saturday Night Speedway Series is the series that we set up for fixed set racers who want to come in and race on that. And it was a great setup, great competition, no cautions, great drivers. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more.
And another pat in the back to Texan was he overslept for the team race. He comes in, no practice. We reset, let him get in. He takes no laps whatsoever. We grid the cars, and he gets the most gained positions. He gained 7 positions in that race to finish second, running down Robert. That's pretty stout.
Well, thank you. It was a slow start for me because I wasn't, like I said, I didn't have any practice with that setup, and I wasn't really used to it. I started at the back, and I think fell back there in the beginning. Pockets was right there running with me. We were passing each other, racing each other there for a few laps, and I think I was about 5 seconds off the lead. And over the whole green flag run, I was able to catch back up a little bit with some good pit stops, and it all came down to that last stop and that strategy. And Robert did a great job.
Yeah, that's also stage racing that we've, our man HB Hardy, one of the series directors for Voiles Trucking Speedway Series, came up with the concept of trying to be as realistic and simulate what NASCAR does with the stage racing, and that has thrown in, it turns it into a thinking man's game. Like myself, I stayed out to try to
You did get
get a.
that point, by the way.
Oh, did I? I tried to stay
Yes,
out to
you
get
did.
that one valuable bonus point, knowing I was going to run out of gas, maybe hoping to limp back to the pits, but I ended up running completely out of gas and I spun and I couldn't get my car started and ended up going 4 laps down in that race. But you see how normally you would never consider doing that, but that bonus point out there makes you look at these races a
Yeah.
little bit different way. So this segment racing is thrown in a little bit different philosophy and a little different way of thinking about racing. And so that's part of the whole deal there on Saturday Night Speedway Series, sponsored by Voiles Trucking. Thanks to Brian and Kathy again for sponsoring that series. And it's like I said, no cautions, 4 green flag pit stops. I mean, you got to be on top of your game. You got drivers like Robert Balcom, Texan. It's just the competition level there is top notch, and we're just glad to be a part of it and great racing.
Where are we going to be headed to there next Saturday night in the series?
I think they said Pocono.
Yes,
Pocono.
it is Pocono.
Well, we know that's going to be a great race. We just had 2 great races there, and I'm sure we'll have another one next week. Let's take a look at the points here in this series with, I believe, a few races left to go. Robert Balcom up in the lead there, commanding the lead over second place. Rick Johnson down by 48. Monty Keller in third, down by 74. There's Pockets in fourth place, down by 86. And BSR Hot Rod rounding out the top 5, down by 87. 1 point between you and Pockets.
5
the hell am I in fourth place in that series?
I don't know. I was wondering how I was in fifth, but
I didn't.
Okay. There's still 5 races to go in that series too.
Yeah, and Robert's been doing a great job of not only getting a win here and there, but getting those stage bonus points, and the stage wins have really helped him out, and that's what's propelled him up there to the lead like that. So, a few other guys get some stage wins and some race wins, they can catch right back up there with him.
See, Pockets, so that stage
That's
point
exactly
that you got, that you beat me out of, got you in fourth place instead of fifth place.
That's just exactly what I was looking at there. Maybe that 1 point, maybe that wasn't such a bad call by my crew chief to stay out there and run out of gas and get that bonus point, because it kept me.
Yeah, because if you would have pitted, that would have gave me that bonus point because I was behind you.
I knew you were out
and
there.
I had saved plenty of fuel. I was well good to go. That was my strategy from the beginning, which would have worked out right if I wouldn't have got a black flag coming in the pits when I came in. So mistake going in the pits cost me dearly in that race.
Well, that's like I said, that makes it interesting. You see those different calls, different philosophies, different strategies. I mean, you got to be on top. You got to be thinking about it all the time. You heard people over the radio last night confirming which lap's going to be the one that pays the bonus point. Where's the buffer zone? Where, and it does create interesting scenario for those races on Saturday night, and we'll see how it shakes out during the rest of the season. I think we've got several races left on Saturday night, so we'll see more strategy, more racing, guaranteed more green flag pit stops, probably even a caution-free race like we had last night. I mean, you take a group of people and you put them on a track like that at California, super fast, and no cautions, no mistakes by anyone. That'll just show you the level of drivers we have there on Saturday night.
I think that Axel's Monday night series, when it ends this time next year, he was talking about going to the tire rule, which I'm truly excited about, because that's another one that will truly change the dynamics of how you race the race and and that's going to alter finishing positions and everything. Watch and see.
Yeah, it just shows you how that we're always talking behind the scenes of ways to make these series more competitive, more fun for everybody. We don't just throw out a series there and just kick the dead horse, so to speak. We're always looking at ways to make it more exciting and more interesting for people, and interject more strategy and stuff like that. And the prizes and the sponsors that we have just make this, I feel like, the greatest place to race. You know, we've given out tons of prizes, tons of awards, thanks to our sponsors, Drunken Cow Jerky, Voiles Trucking, all the rest of our sponsors, WLS Graphics, just like those T-shirts you've seen. That's just part of what we do to keep it interesting, and because we try to simulate racing, and if you're going to simulate real racing, racers race for money or prizes. It's just, and we feel like that's part of the simulation aspect. We want to give people a goal or a prize or something to shoot for, and provide them with great, clean racing. So we're proud to be able to do that for everybody that comes out and supports us every night.
Absolutely. And speaking of bonus points, let's take a look at the bonus points. After our first week of segment 2, nothing going on in the Truck Series last week. No change there, no race. In the Xfinity Series, we've got Robert Balcom bringing home his first win in that Friday night series over both segments so far. And you can see him over there in the right. No, it looks like, yeah. Okay, I was talking about the Cup Series the other day. He only made, it looks like, 3 races in the first segment. And he's got his first win here in the first race of the second segment, bringing him up to 4 bonus points so far. So he is a little bit behind, but if he makes most of the races this season, gets his full bonus points, and I'm sure he'll bring home at least one more victory. He's not going to be that far behind. A driver like Robert wouldn't be hard for him to make up 8 or 9 points in the chase.
So can he actually be one of the contenders when it comes down to the last 10 races of this series? Can he actually pull that off and win one of the most coveted prizes in all of sim racing? Can he do it?
I think it's
I think
possible.
he's got the ability.
It's not going to be easy, I'll tell you that, because if you look at some of the drivers that are highlighted there in the top, right now you got 2 drivers tied for the lead. You got 3 drivers tied for second place, just 1 point back, and 3 more drivers tied for third place, just 1 more point back. So that's 7 drivers right now going into the chase, all separated by only 2 points, and every one of those guys are going to be strong and consistent. So it can be done. He can do it for sure, but he's going to have to struggle. It's not going to be easy.
I'm not taking nothing away from Robert. I think he could do it 2 pockets, but I'm just telling you, if Tex and your Chevy have anything to say about it, that thing ain't going nowhere.
There is a whole list of drivers that are going to be contenders in that series when it comes to the last 10 races, because I'll tell you, this is the advanced level of sim racing. This is not fixed set. This is not where everybody's equal and they fall back on that lame excuse of, well, I don't really have time to build it. You better have time to do something, because these guys are top notch. Gonna beat them, you've beat the best. And you ain't gonna beat them because everybody's got the same setup. You're gonna have a little knowledge. You're gonna have to go down and visit with some of the top notch drivers and pick their brain for tips and hints and tricks and set up notes and stuff like that. So if you're gonna put one of these trophies on your mantle, you've got some work ahead of you, because that last 10 races is going to be when everybody lets it all hang out. And that's why this is what I consider to be the premier series, because like I said, this ain't fixed setup where everybody's got the same setup. And get down to that last 10 races, people are going to start closing that garage door. You're going to have to come down there and knock on it, and you're going to have to hope they open it up and even talk to you, because they're going to be holding their secrets close to their vest, and it's going to be go time in the last 10 races. So if Robert can do it, he's going to have to do it. That's for sure. Along with a lot of these other drivers, you see those bonus points. That's indications of pointing of who's going to be the contenders, and we'll see when it comes to the last 10 races. It's going to be wide open to a lot of great sim racers, and there's going to be a lot of great racing, and we're going to see who takes home the Drunken Cow Jerky prizes, the Drunken Cow Jerky trophies, and that golden helmet that Rick Craddock provides for Thursday night.
Yeah, speaking of the golden helmet, let's take a look at Thursday night, the Cup Series. Keith McLean took the win on Thursday. That's his second win in this series so far. He had one win in the first segment. He's got a second win here in the second segment. And if you look over there, he was also one of the drivers that didn't quite make enough races to get the full 13 bonus points in the first segment. But he did make 7 and got 7 bonus points. Plus, he's got his 2 wins there, bringing him up to 9 bonus points total. Currently, that would put him 9 points off the lead. And another situation here where if he were to make the allotted amount of races this time, which I believe is 9, if he makes 9 of the 13 and gets the full 13 bonus points, and also maybe wins another race, he's only looking at going into the chase anywhere from 8 to 10 points off the lead. So again, there's another driver that Keith is a great driver. He's fast everywhere. So, going into that last 10 races, 8 to 10 points off the lead, he's got a real legitimate shot at a championship in this series.
You and I talked about this the other day, Killa, about these people that have come in and they've enjoyed some success at certain tracks and certain races. I'm going to tell you right now, they better be paying attention to this bonus point deal, because when it comes to that first race of the chase, it's going to be too late for them to think about it then. They're going to see how many points they're down. Now is the time to start thinking about it. If you think you're going to take one of these championships home, you better be looking at these bonus points right now, because these guys are stacking them up just like poker chips, and they fixing to sit down to the table with a whole stack of chips, and you're going to have to beat them, and you do not want to be 15, 20 points behind, because let me tell you something, the competition in the last 10 races is going to be fierce, and every single point that you can bank right now is valuable as can be. So they better get it on their mind if they've got any kind of inkling of being a champion in these series.
Absolutely, because these guys you see highlighted over here, every one of those drivers are going to be, top 5 contenders every single race. And if they don't have a trouble in any of those races, even if you finish ahead of them in just about every race, if you've got a good deficit, it's not going to be easy. And if you look, like I was mentioning earlier, all these boxes here in the middle, they're all filled up. The only thing left is segment 2. So the only bonus points left to grab before the end of the season is either for a race win, or if you get in that top 5 at the end of the segment. You're going to have to make pretty much all the races to be in that top 5 at the end of the segment, because I know there's going to be at least 7 or 8 guys that are going to be at every race this season. So top 5 or a victory, that's all that's left. And we'll see at the end of this next segment where everybody's going to be. We'll be in the chase.
Yeah, because one thing to consider is that we're in the meat and potatoes section of we're headed into the summer section of the schedule. We get this next segment over with. I mean, we just had race 1 of 13. We've got 13 more races to complete. We get to that last 10 races. That's going to be a whole different story. People are racing conservative. They're points racing. They're looking at these bonus points and stuff. And if they don't happen to win a race, that's okay. They've got next week. Get to that last 10 races, all of that's out the window. You have got to perform in those last 10 races. That's when the maximum amount of pressure is on each driver to perform every week, no mistakes. So this is the time to where you try to gain as much advantage as you can to go into that last 10 races so that you'll be somewhere in the neighborhood of level ground with the competition that's going to be thrown at you in the last 10 races of this chase. And when you win one of these prizes, that's the one you're going to put up on your Facebook or you send it out in an email, let all your friends see, take pictures of it, because you win one of these championships, you will have done something in sim racing.
Yeah, the trophy and ring for this particular series, I haven't had one of those. I won last season, and the helmet trophy, it's unique. It's a great looking trophy. The ring, it's pretty awesome. I mean, it's a championship ring. This is definitely a great prize for this whole season of cup racing, and it's one that everybody's going to be shooting for.
Not to mention the Drunken Cow Jerky trophies, the pile of Drunken Cow Jerky that you'll be able to get. I'm sure there's going to be other plaques, prizes, T-shirts. I mean, we're constantly having, our sponsors come to us and say, hey, man, we really like this. We want to do this. We want to offer this. So these prizes pools and these prizes and these things that you see are growing every week. People see the success that we're having, and they want to offer something and say, you know what, that's fabulous. That's good. Here's the T-shirt, like WLS Graphics. Here's 3 T-shirts for the custom made. We're gonna do the work. We're gonna foot the bill, and we're gonna give these racers a nice T-shirt for their efforts and for supporting this league. And we can't thank them enough.
Yeah, speaking of our sponsors, let's get them all mentioned here. Drunken Cow Jerky, of course, drunkencowjerky.com for some great beef jerky. Boyles Trucking, BSR Brian Boyles and Kathy Boyles. Real Tech LLC, Rick Craddock. And WLS Graphics, BSR Scar. BSR RJ Rusty over at the Medicine Chest Pharmacy. And BSR Tyler and Rhoda at Hello Sunshine Hello. We appreciate everything that all of our sponsors do for us. Rick at Real Tech that you see right there, he's the one that puts up the trophy and the championship ring for the Cup Series. Drunken Cow Jerky takes care of the trophies for the truck and the Xfinity Series, and also provides the winner of all 3 of the series with some great beef jerky. Brian Boyles has done a whole lot for this league this season. We can't say enough about how much we appreciate him and everything he's done. It's great. It's great to be. It's such a great place with great drivers, great people, and I couldn't say more about this league and how much fun I have racing here. It's a great place.
Absolutely. There are several drivers who are hanging plaques on their wall from Brian and Kathy Voiles over at Voiles Trucking. Nice plaques. I myself have been fortunate enough to receive one of them for some success that I've had. And Drunken Cow Jerky provides us with great jerky prizes throughout the whole season. At some of these special events, they sponsor certain races and stuff like that. And just last week, Mark and I were in communication, and we were shipping out jerky prizes all over the country. And, he and I were batting it around, and I was giving him addresses, and we were figuring out the logistics of everything. And there's going to be some Drunken Cow Jerky hitting some people's mailboxes here any day now next week. And just another one of the ways that we try to provide something good for the people that support us.
We'll try to make sure we get some pics of those. Any of you guys that you get that jerky, make sure you get a pic, snap it, send it in on Facebook, or email it to Pockets at Jimmy Dale. If you're out there, we're still looking for that pic, you in that T-shirt. Sorry, I think I was interrupting you there, Larry.
Yeah, I was just saying that I was lucky enough to win one of them beautiful Royals plaques from the shootout, and that's one of my most favorite prizes that I have ever won.
Yeah, we got Keith McLean over there in the chat box right now. He's watching the spotter stand. He's seeing what the 411 is. He's getting the info. He's seeing maybe he will be a contender for the championship this season. We'll have to wait and see. But him and Robert and Chevy and Texan and the rest of those guys, Rick Craddock, there's some top-notch sim racers that are they're gonna cut heads. It comes time for it. So we'll be here. We'll be here every Sunday with the spotter stand to keep y'all abreast of the situation and give you all the info we can to keep you up to date, so you'll know where we stand as we trudge on through this great sim racing schedule.
That's right. Well, as we get ready to roll out of here, Chevy, Larry, you guys got anything else you'd like to add before we roll out?
Nope, I'm good. We covered a good deal today.
Yeah, we had a good show, covered just about everything. We'll be coming at you guys live next week from Michigan. Little Texas in the trucks, Michigan in the Cup, and the Xfinity. It's going to be another great week, and I can't wait to get back to you next week with all the updates and let you know what happened. Appreciate you being with us, and we'll see you next time on the Spotter Stand.
Holla!
Later.